Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacha Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarottam Pravaram Munina Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi Om. So in the last class, someone is saying something? Can't hear you. Hello. Can you hear me? You are very, uncle, you are very feeble. I can't hear you. Can others hear, uncle?
We are having some disturbance, Shakka.
Can you hear me clearly? There is a disturbance. Okay. Wait. Can you hear me now? Huh? Disturbance is there. What disturbance? I don't know.
Now it is better.
Okay. Let us start. Let us see how it goes. It will settle hopefully. Others be on mute. Yeah. युक्ताहारविहारस्य युक्तचेष्टस्य कर्मसु युक्तस्वप्नावबोधस्य योगो भवति दुःखः यदा विनियतं चित्तम् आत्मन्येवावतिष्ठते निःस्पृहः सर्वकामेभ्यः युक्त इत्युच्यते तदा. So in the last classes we were seeing Yama Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana. Okay, so Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. This is what we need to clearly now look and understand, because till now whatever has been given as the Ashtanga, the first 5 limbs by Patanjali, are more enablers for Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Okay. Now the main one, which is referring to the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is Dhyana Yoga or Atma Samyama Yoga, this is related to Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So that is the main crux now. So now what is Dharana? Dharana is when we, after doing Pratyahara, or in our terms we call it Shama, disciplining of the mind, where we are moving all the Jnanendriyas away from the Vishaya and not connecting it to the mind. So the mind is not getting now inputs from the external. Then we have to give a direction to this mind. A direction is need to be given, and that direction, along with, when it continues, that direction is the same for Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. It is not for Dharana you give a direction, for Dhyana the direction changes, no. So whatever direction is given, dharana, dhyana, samadhi continues in that. So what is this exactly defined as? Giving direction to the mind, what is it defined as? Vijatiya pratyaya anantaram sajatiya pratyaya pravaha. Okay. Vijatiya pratyaya anantaram sajatiya pratyaya pravaha. This is what is defined as giving this direction. So what is vijatiya? Vijatiya means disconnected. Okay. Which do not have any connection. Okay. Pratyaya are thoughts. Okay. Or concepts. Vijatiya either as individual thought or collection of thoughts or segregation of thoughts, these are all called pratyaya. So Vijatiya pratyaya anantaram. So initially this, because when we are going to talk of understanding the environment, it is Vijatiya pratyaya because my five indriyas are going to capture information from the object and they are going to be five different areas. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, when it is going to work, there are five different directions. They are Vijatiya pratyaya. So whatever input you are going to get from smell will not be the same input which you will get from what you are seeing. The inputs are different. Vishaya can be the same. Suppose you look at the food. Eyes are looking at the food. The eyes is smelling the food. The tongue is tasting the food. It is one particular object. But the information which we get are three different. And hence, they are three different bundle of thoughts. And hence they are Vijatiya pratyaya. So once we stop this mind going out into the Vishaya, it will still have that remnant vasana or the samskaras to go to Vishaya after Vishaya. Right? Because it has been doing that all along with the waking state. Because it was never focused. It will keep jumping around from one to the other. Now that Vijatiya pratyaya or that area of thought which are not very connected need to get stopped, and then it should be replaced with Sajatiya pratyaya pravaha. It is not just Sajatiya pratyaya. It is not connected thoughts alone, but it needs to be a pravaha which is continuously in the same direction. Okay. For example, I sit for meditation and I am seeing Krishna's photo. And the moment I see this Krishna's photo, that small, very 3-year, 4-year boy Krishna, okay, this Krishna, very beautiful, charming, all that you are just seeing. Suddenly, the mind goes into your grandchild or child's fancy dress competition where he or she became Krishna. Okay. From there, that mind will take into this child only. From that child, it will go to somewhere else, that what will he grow up and become. From there, it will go to the next. Like that, it will keep on binding and tying itself. Now, the object being the child, it is Vijatiya pratyaya. It is not Sajatiya pratyaya. Please understand that. So, if you are going to look at like a jumping jack, going to jump from one to the other, just connecting because of that one thought, then you are actually jumping from one bundle of thoughts to another bundle of thoughts to another bundle of thoughts, which is called Vijatiya Pratyaya. The object being the same, Krishna in front of you, has already gone right up to this child's education, marriage, children, everywhere it will go. Correct? And the object still remains the same. So that is not Sajatiya Pratyaya Pravaha. Here Pravaha is there. Vijatiya Pratyaya Pravaha very naturally comes to us. We keep on jumping across because you just leave us to plan. We will plan and not do even 1/1,000,000th of what we have planned. But we'll continue to plan. And that planning means what? Mind is going into Vijatiya. Because we will look at all the aspects. And that is not which is expected. And because, as I told last time, many of these which do not get chance to come out to the surface of the mind, like a ball, a plastic ball or a sponge ball, when you just press it inside water and then you release the hand, it will suddenly pop up. Like that, this Vijatiya Pratyaya will keep coming to this mind actively whenever you are going to sit in meditation. Okay, so now here we have to first understand that don't run away from it. No, it should not come. But why it is coming to me? No, you have to pass through it. So first accept that it is my friend, it is going to come first. This Sajatiya Pratyaya Pravaha itna jaldi dost nahi banega, lekin this Vijatiya Pratyaya is always with me, it is my friend. Because I am used to it. Arey, but I sat for meditation to come out of it. Arey, but that will come and sit for it. First it will come and sit. So first accept it. Then what to do? ठीक है, वो आ गया. नाउ बिन बुलाए मेहमान जब घर पे आते, आपके पास क्या ऑप्शंस है? अतिथि तुम कब जाओगे? That is the only answer here. You can't push, but then you have to wait जब तक ये अतिथि अपने आप में कंटाल के नहीं जाते. But the moment you show some amount of connection to this Atiti, वो तो डेरा डाल के बैठ जाएगा. So you have to be aware that this intruder has come. You have to be very alert that you should not give any response to it. But at the same time, you should not even think that when it will go. The moment you think when it will go, आप उसको घास दे रहे हो, वो उधर ही बैठेगा. The moment you are not alert about it, then you have already become like this jumping jack. एक का पीछे एक जाते रहेंगे. You will not even know. तो चुपचाप बैठना है, कुछ नहीं करना है. Simply just keep quiet. Automatically it will settle down. Okay, and this is what is the first step we have to learn by getting into dharana. Now, before getting into dharana, you should have a clear plan of what you have to do. Don't sit and say, once I complete pratyahara, let me think, what should I think about today? Yeah, that means your Vijatiya is already very happy. Why? Because you are weak, it is stronger. So you have to be very clear that what should be my sankalpa for dharana dhyana. What is that direction which I need to focus, and I need to be prepared, and I need to have all the things ready with me for it. All the knowledge related, if I require, I need to do some homework about it. Like for example, if I am going to say that I am going to do dhyana on Krishna, you should have a Krishna's murti or a photo or all those things, and it should not be just a very bland thing that by looking at it you will say, "Arey jaane do yaar, ye Krishna ko kya dekhne ka?" It should be attractive. You should look at that, because that's the way to start. That's the way to start, because now we are all toddlers in this path, and when you are toddlers in the path, immediately distractions will come. So you need to have equally a strong, attractive Krishna. So all that needs to be ready. The timing needs to be ready. Like he said, Bahiranga, whatever has to be, you have to take care of that. Then in Antaranga, you prepare. See it, everything is ready, that Alambana is ready. Then you sit for dharana, and in that dharana, sajatiya pratyaya pravaha should be there. So when we see sajatiya pratyaya pravaha, what will happen? Now I am seeing Krishna. Understand one thing. In our Shastras, there is nothing called as meditation or dhyana without a Ishvara. Let us be very, very clear here. Any other dhyana what you do which does not have this divinity is not called a dhyana. It is called focusing just to keep our mind focused. So you will not get the full benefit of what you want in upasana or dhyana because it needs to be an Ishvara Vishaya and it needs to be manasam karma. Ishvarasya Vishaye manasam karma iti upasana. So you have to actively be present in your mind and it needs to be 100% connected with Shastra Vichara or Ishvara Vichara, which are very, very clearly, because that Vichara itself is going to give you a punya. Then that Vichara is going to, only such Vicharas can make you calm. For example, if I take a Vichara of a robbery which has happened in the neighboring building, take that Vichara. After you do dhyana on that robbery, maybe you would have got very, very important clues. We should see this could be the reason. Fine. But will you be calm or will you be agitated after that? So if our objective is to calm the mind, then the object needs to be divine. Why this object needs to be divine? Please understand this. What is happening in dhyana? We need to know this very clearly. What is happening in dhyana, at least at the initial stage, till something is, why are we doing this dhyana? What is happening in this dhyana? Anyone?
Thoughts.
Huh?
Thoughts which are again, we are trying to bring to.
No, but what is happening? What is that mechanism? What is the process happening in this dhyana? Why such a thing called dhyana is required?
Take a cycle.
Yeah, but for that I don't have to do dhyana. For example, I am walking on the road and I am thinking about something so deeply that I am not even aware of who is there near me, what vehicle is there. One part of the brain is just understanding that there is something, you mechanically move and you maneuver. You don't hit anyone. But you are not even aware of any single thing which happened in the road, which is to say the process is dhyana, but we will not call it dhyana. You are doing a vichara. Sajatiya, pratyaya, pravaha, vichara is there. But it is not dhyana. We know how to do it. But why do we need to do dhyana on an Ishvara or a Shastra vichara? Why do we need to do that? See, are we attaining something by doing this? Are we getting something? Like for example, I don't have this knowledge. When I go to this class, I listen to this, and by that, from what I know, I build on it and I get an additional knowledge. That is the clear purpose. By doing dhyana, are you going to get any additional knowledge? Are you going to record anything new in it? So you are going to play what you know. Then why are you doing it? जो मुझे मालूम है उसे क्यों करना है? मालूम है ना?
To calm the mind. To calm the mind.
How will the mind get calm?
Control. Jala.
How will that happen?
It is running here and there.
Concentrate on
One thing.
All that is okay. Okay. Even without an Ishvara, you can do this concentration. Suppose I keep a Superman there. Jala Pakshivat Roda Sadhanam will happen or not?
Yes.
Correct? We are referring to that process will happen. Why Ishvara or why Shastra as the object is the question.
Divinity should.
Why? Why that blessed divinity needs to be there?
This submit Ahankara.
Huh?
Ahankara submission.
Where is the question of Ahankara submission coming in this? Where is it coming?
Make us.
No, where is it coming? Is Dhyana going to submit your Ahankara?
That's what we are doing.
Is that the objective of doing Dhyana? Then why is it
Some
coming?
calls.
Just off it. Okay. Okay. So, why do we need to do this? Because this is something which is a very important thing. Again,
No. The screen is.
why do we need to do this? Because then only you will know what is going to happen. Because unless you know the purpose what you are doing, unless you know the process what you are doing, unless you know what is the benefit you are going to get, unless these are clear, whatever you do will not give that required result. We need to do dhyana very clear to first focus our mind, stabilize the mind. Okay, calm the mind. Agreed. What is the process I need to do? Dhyana. Agreed. What is the benefit I will get? Calm mind. Okay. Then for doing that, what is the process requirement? A proper seating arrangement and all that other factors. Okay. And then you need to slowly cut off yourself from the rest and then connect to something. Now that connecting to something can be anything, because all these are not going to go cross to that whatever we have said. But here we are saying that it needs to be Ishvara or Shastra. Why such a thing you connect to? Because if you connect with anything else also, you will get it. Then why we are very specifically saying that it needs to be done. Will that? Yeah.
We are following our
Parampara, that is Andhashraddha. Don't do that. There is nothing called Parampara. When it comes to Parampara, what is taught, you know? When it comes to what Upanishad says, when it comes to this Parampara, you know what it is said? Yatha andhe niyamatna yathanda. As one blind person is holding the hand of another blind person and showing the way. So just following that parampara is absolutely not what is required, because we are talking of prashna, asking the question, getting a clarity and then going ahead. So no blind faith here. No scope for blind faith. Yeah. Any other answer? Sorry. Sorry? Huh. All that is fine. The question is, why are we choosing
Divinity. Ishwara.
Ishvara or Shastra? Why? We have no doubt that you want moksha. We have no doubt that by doing this you may get moksha, you may not get moksha. We don't know. Correct? But why such a step? Why not a Superman or a Batman or any man where the mind will be more focused? The mind can easily get focused on something like that rather than this Ishvara, right? Which is easier? You see a child, very easily is getting connected to that particular thing. Why? Huh?
What we have learned in Shastra, that is affirmation. Affirmation.
That is later. First Ishvara, then Shastra. Only when you know that I am getting this benefit, you will continue it ahead.
Karma,
Oh, abhi tak we have fooled you by telling all this. When it comes to rational thinking, we will call everything as fooling.
Because he has all the good qualities and we want to invite them.
Huh?
All the good qualities are in Ishwar.
Ah, what type of qualities? What type of qualities? That is the, because for example, suppose in Upanishad it comes, okay, युवा स्यात् साधु युवाध्यायकः आशिष्ठो दृढष्ठो बलिष्ठः तस्येयं पृथिवी सर्वा वित्तस्य पूर्णा स्यात् स एको मानुष आनन्दः. I take this example. Imagine a person, the Upanishad is giving a theoretical example here. Imagine a person who is young, who is very healthy, who is strong, who is very learned, who is a teacher, who has a clear idea of Shastra, who has got all the wealth available in this universe. Okay, and his enjoyment or ananda is one measure of ananda. Why can't I take this person as my dhyana vastu?
Yeah.
I can, right?
Yes.
Huh? Shastra will say that.
Sir, because apart from Ishvara, everybody has flaws. Everybody has flaws.
What
Except
flaw?
Ishvara.
I will ask, what you mentioned, I am going to ask the question other way. What flaws does Ishvara not have? Due to which I am forced to see Ishvara only.
Ishvara is infinite. It will never end. It doesn't have starting or end.
Okay.
Whereas everything in this world has a starting or end.
1 minute.
Whereas Ishvara is infinite.
1 minute. Here, 1 minute. When I start my dhyana, I am going to see one Rama, one Krishna, one Panduranga, finite Murti. I can never start from infinite because that infinite concept itself I don't have. But I see this one Rama, one Krishna, one Panduranga, one whoever you want to take. Finite. Murti, right? It has got a complete shape, and that Murti also you will not see which is in Pandharpur. You will not see which is in Ayodhya. You will see that one which is there in your house, which you are seeing every day. You will see only that, even when you close your eyes. Okay, and that Murti will be having all the flaws in it. Still, you will see that Murti only. Then, what is the speciality of that Murti, which you are seeing, which doesn't have the flaws which we have? Because without that value, when you see something, then the benefit will not come. This is where today when people talk of meditation, no one talks about these parts. They will simply say, just close your eyes, focus at a point. Now that focusing at a point is an exercise of the mind. It is not an upasana, it is not a shastric way of doing dhyana, very clearly. And not only me, not only the Bhagavad Gita, Patanjali also says the same thing. Tatra pratyalambanaha. He says there has to be an alambana. That alambana cannot be anything. He gives very clearly, Ishvara pranidhanadva. He gives, that is an alternate to it. He is giving very clearly in the sadhana pada. Why does he give that? Because we have very easily accepted we have to see Ishvara. The moment we are not convinced that we have to see Ishvara, the mind will suddenly from Ishvara go jump somewhere there. And that is why you need to be very sure that I know Wherever the mind goes, I have to bring it here. Otherwise, the value of Ishvara starts going down. Why? Because I really do not know why am I considering this blessed Ishvara for my meditation. सब लोग बोला परंपरा ठीक है हम भी कर रहे हैं लेकिन वो मन रुकता ही नहीं ना उधर क्या करूं करेक्ट वो राम बोला उधर राम में बाद में सीधा वो मन गया अरुण गोविल के पास वहां से दीपिका के पास वहां से किधर किधर जाके घूम के आया वापस वो राम बेचारा उधर ही खड़ा है व्हाट डू आई डू समझ में आ रहा है then I have to invoke that value in this blessed murti which I am seeing and what value is that which if it is invoked then my mind will stay that way. What is that? Because the rest everything has a flaw. This doesn't have a flaw. That also you all have to. Huh? Sorry? Can't clearly hear you. No, that all is known. That is why Saguna Ishvara only. Ishvara, the moment you say, it is Saguna only, na? Where is the question of Nirguna? All that is accepted. See, this doesn't, we are all convinced. But why Ishvara, forget even Shastra, why Ishvara or your Ishta Devata, whoever Ishta Devata, you start with that. Why that? And then you move ahead. Huh? Okay. He is complete or she is complete and I am incomplete. Okay. So how is that going to impact my dhyana? So what I will do is every time I will look, Ishvara, you are complete. What to do? I am incomplete. Ishvara, you are complete. What to do? I am incomplete. At the end of dhyana, you will cry or you will be happy. Why am I countering each and every statement what you all are telling? I have not thought of all this. Based on what you all are saying, I am countering it. Yes, then we need to know exactly why and what we are doing.
The Ishvara is not under the control of Maya. He controls Maya, whereas we are under the control of Maya.
But
That's the difference.
all this will not come in dhyana, right?
Dhyana is not, but something different from it.
But finally in dhyana, see, this is not jnanam. We are now in dhyana yoga. In jnana, all this makes sense. When I am going to do dhyana, I need to be very clear. Okay. What is dhyana? Let us go one step lower. What is dhyana? Definition of dhyana, manasam karma. Correct? Manasam karma is dhyana. Now that same dhyana, suppose if I do vachikam and kayikam, what is it called? That karma of Ishvara, if I do vachikam or kayikam, what is it called? What is it called in English? No.
Prayer.
No. That is what is called puja because there is a karma involved in it now. It is called puja. It has got vachikam karma and kayikam karma. Why am I doing this? If I know why am I doing this, then I have to use the same thing in manasam karma. Which means I am not sure why I am doing puja. How will you get Chitta Shuddhi? How will you? Huh? How will you get Nitya Karma? We are not referring to Nitya Karma here. Puja. It is, call it even Kamya Karma. First, let us be very, very clear that we are not that knowledgeable and all. Like any common person, simple. Why did in that three idiots that guy do, Bhagwan ये कर देना मेरा परीक्षा में पास कर दो. So there is a benefit associated he wants. After a while this becomes a habit because I start seeing some benefit. What benefit I get out of it, even without asking?
Load is on you.
Load is on him. He'll be like that century bazaar person. ऐसा बैठा रहेगा, गर्दन सीधा ही नहीं कर सकते, सबका लोड लेगा तो.
हमने लोड नहीं दिया.
अच्छा तो वो लेना बनता है. He has no other job. You gave it, he has to take. In fact, he is giving you the load to clear up your karma. He will not take your load. When you start going back, that is the time we realize that we are just, this is what is called Andhashraddha. Without knowing, we are just doing it. Achha. Tell me, when we suppose, let us go to a little different from, I will have to deviate and then from there only come back. Suppose you have organized a meeting of people and you have got some chief guest. Let us imagine a politician or a businessman or a knowledgeable person, someone you have called the chief guest. What will you do? And you are the secretary or someone.
Welcome him.
Welcome him. Okay, you are welcome. Then
Satyar, do good things, say good things.
Huh?
Say good things.
Why did you do that? Why did you say good things? Why you are not saying bad things? Even if you know, you will not tell that. Why?
He needs something.
Huh?
He might need something.
Because I need something. The basic purpose to bring that person here has got at the back of my mind a need to bring that person. Let's be clear. Huh?
Yes.
How much ever outside you show off that nothing, you have something in your mind, that is why you call that person. If not anything for public or anything, but for your own personal benefit or your status or nothing, if not anything, taking a photograph with that person. Like Gangadharan taking a photograph. Some benefit is there, correct? Nothing more than that. Right? So without a benefit I will not do. Now how do I get a benefit out of someone? Only by praising that person. So in a puja what am I doing? I am praising the person and saying a part of it I seek, I want. Be benevolent to give me a part of what you have. Ichha hai mera. Right? That is what is my sankalpa. Your sankalpa is what? Very clearly, even if you say loka kshemartam, what is this loka kshema? My sankalpa that I want loka to be kshema. Why I don't want to be loka the way it is? I want to see only good part of loka. That is why loka kshema becomes my personal sankalpa also. Although it is for many, but it is still my karya karma. If you look at it very clearly, correct? Now, if I see this is going to be my benefit, I need a way to transfer from that to here. Correct? Ladies, how do you put tikli?
Look in the mirror.
Look in the mirror and you don't put tikli to the mirror. I put tikli to myself. Why? The mirror
Reflection.
gives back to me something which I don't know as known. Is the mirror giving back anything new? Is the mirror changing my face, changing my hand, changing something? No. But the mirror is giving a clarity of something which I don't know as what I know now. Which I already is there with me. Huh? So Ishvara is actually reflecting my certain small gunas as a big one and giving me back. I am using Ishvara as a mirror there to reflect that back to me. That is why it is an alambana. Correct? I use that because with that, when it reflects, who is getting the benefit? Not the mirror, not the Ishvara. It is coming back to me into my mind. Are we clear? That is why if I have something which has got a flaw, the flaw will also get reflected back to me. So I need to have something which is flawless. What is flawless? Why Ishvara is flawless? Why Ishvara is flawless?
Bhagavad.
Because he doesn't have a
Saguna.
gender.
That is the answer, because he is Bhagavan. He has got that 6 qualities. That is why I call him Ishvara. He has that 6 qualities. He doesn't have karma, he doesn't have vipaka, he doesn't have very clearly, and this is what anyone Patanjali Yoga Sutra. I don't know, lot of Patanjali Yoga Sutra is coming to my mind. How is Bhagavan Ishvaraha defined? Huh?
Klesha karma.
Tell loudly. Klesha, karma,
Karma,
vipaka,
vipaka,
आशयैः अपरामृष्टः पुरुषविशेषः ईश्वरः.
yeah, right.
क्लेशकर्मविपाकाशैरपरामृष्टः पुरुषविशेषः ईश्वरः. Such a beautiful definition. Klesha aparamrishtaha. What is paramrishtaha? Only difference. See, this is a beauty. In other sutras, you will learn only sutras. In Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, you will learn Sanskrit words also. Why? He was expert in grammar. Patanjali has written Mahabhashyam to Panini. So that ability to express words will come fantastic. So paramrishtaha is being affected, being touched, being connected. Aparamrishta is not being connected, not being touched, not being impacted by it. So kleshaha aparamrishtaha. Karmaha aparamrishtaha. Klesha is what? Manakleshaha. Okay, you are 5. Someone told about this. Who actually answered this? Of course, I was not seeing. Who answered this? Who answered this? Ishvara. Come on, very nice. Who is the person? Who answered this? Ishvara.
So the shloka, the sutra.
You answered. Okay. What are klishta and aklishta vritti now?
Klishta are those which.
Hey, Sutra. You are Sutra person. I want Sutra from you.
Very bad with sutras.
Pramana viparyaya. It will come in the 7th or 8th sutra. It will come. Pramana viparyaya. Wait. Klishtaha. Viparyayo pramana. Pratyaksha. Wait. Vrittirayitaratra. Vrittayaha panchatayaha klishtaha. 5 types of vrittis. Which are those? Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra smritayaha. Okay, only out of this viparyaya is klishta vritti, the rest are aklishta vrittis. Okay, so when you say klishta means klesha. Klesha means which have joining connections in it. Okay, so klishta vritti, sorry?
Klesha are which have attachments.
Correct? Joining. Kleshaha, klishtaha. So these vrittis, when it is there, Ishvaraha doesn't have kleshaha, klishta vritti. Okay, he doesn't have karma. Klishta is attachment. Klishta aparamrishta. Karma aparamrishta. He doesn't have karma. He doesn't have which karmas? Karma aparamrishta means what he doesn't have? Nishiddha, Prayaschitta, Kamya, Naimitya, Naimittika and Nitya. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have Vipakaha. What is Vipakaha? Karma phala is Vipaka. What is that? Sanchita, Agami, Prarabdha. He doesn't have that. Are you getting? So he doesn't have Klishta aparamrishtaha, Karma aparamrishtaha, Vipaka aparamrishtaha. Then what is that? One more was there, na? Ashayaihi. So no desires. Okay. He doesn't have any desire. All this who doesn't have Abhavaha, Purusha Visheshaha, Ishvaraha. Clear? So when I have an alambana or when I have someone whom I am looking at, for example, Ramo, Dharmo, Vigrahavan, Ramaha. Rama is the embodiment of Dharma. When I look at it that way, that Dharma will come in me. That I have to follow the Dharma as a value will come in me. Satyameva Jayate, when I see that in Harishchandra, Satya as a value will come in me. So I use that alambana to reflect back in a bigger way for me to get, and that is the purpose of dhyana first. With Saguna Ishvara, you will get only Saguna back to you. And that Sagunas will do what? Remove all the bad ones and replace it with the good ones. Clean up will happen. Mind will get cleaned up. Is it clear? So we understand what is the purpose of doing this. That is why if you keep anything else, you will have 3 problems coming with it. What are the 3 problems? Bandhakatvam, Dukhamishritatvam, Atruptikaratvam. If you keep a Superman, these 3 will also come to you because they have all the 3 in it. Although they may be much better than you, but they are not devoid of these 3. Are you clear? Does it make sense? Why we do it? Why the whole purpose of getting into dhyana? Saguna Ishvara dhyana is that way. Then what happens? You replace Saguna Ishvara dhyana with Saguna Vishwarupa dhyana. So everywhere when I see that, my Chitta Shuddhi happens where I do not have, my Ahankara reduces that way because I see Ishvara everywhere, in everything. Then only I can go to Nirguna. And in Nirguna, how do you do? Now there is no Ishvara, there is no Guna. Then what is going to reflect back? Samajh mein aa raha hai? How will Nirguna get reflected back? It's like saying, I have a mirror in a dark room and something projected on it reflects back. Where will it reflect? Samajh mein aa raha hai? So nothing reflects. So you can't have any Ishvara there in Nirguna. Then what do you need to have?
You exist. You
What?
exist as well.
How? Huh? So I can't come out of Saguna Ishvara now. Now that is my problem. I have limited myself to Saguna only now. Are you getting the problem? By doing something, you are going to now create the next problem is getting ready for you without you knowing. Because always when I am tuning my mind that there is a guna, that guna is going to reflect back. Now if there is no guna there, then I will not even do anything. So Ishvara is Saguna, then there is no question of going to Nirguna at all. If Nirguna I cannot go, Nididhyasanam can never happen. Can never happen. Are you getting it? So what you need to do? reduce the guna partially. How do you reduce the guna? Reduce the form. Reduce the form. Don't make it with that much of classification. Ek patthar. Then all the values. That is what in a puja you invoke. एक पत्थर रख के उसको हम शिवलिंग बोलते हैं. सालिग्राम और शिवलिंग कोई एक अलग नहीं है, एक पत्थर है. उस पत्थर में हम वैल्यू इन्वोक करते विदाउट हैविंग ऑल द विदाउट हैविंग एनी क्लासिफिकेशंस ऑन इट. हाथ है, पाव है, सर है, कुछ नहीं मालूम पड़ता है, बट स्टिल यू देन इन्वोक वैल्यू विद इट. Like that you start invoking value with Shastra, and Shastra Vichara can reflect back, because that was the medium used by the Guru to reflect back Aham Brahmasmi in Shravanam. I will use the same Shastra after Mananam to convert and give it back to me as Nididhyasana. Are you clear? So that time you don't need a Ishvara. You need Shastra Vichara there. That Shastra Vichara can come back and give it to you again. Because Shastra also doesn't have these three. What? Dukkha Mishritatvam, Adrupti Karatvam, and your Bandhakatvam. Shastra doesn't have that. You understand? That is why Ishvara is equal to Shastra, you say. Are we able to get this? See, at a conceptual level, we have to be first clear why we are doing it. Then, variations in that can be clear. So, you go step by step. Now, when you go step by step, first is getting into the path which is Dharana. Then, in Dharana, you have Vijatiya Pratyaya gone, Sajatiya Pratyaya Pravada. You mean to say, as you sit, it will continue like that? No. बीच बीच में ध्यान भटकेगा वापस आएगा. Only when you have a value in this particular object, you would want to come back the dhyana, otherwise it will continue to go somewhere else. After half an hour, you will wake up and say, very बहुत अच्छा meditation हुआ, but only you know how you have fooled yourself. Because it will not give you the benefit of what you want or which sankalpa you have taken. Fair enough. Now if you have a value on it, automatically you will start bringing it. Which means it will jump more, the frequency of jumping will reduce the more you practice it. Okay, that's exactly when a child is born, the timing for the child to sleep is not very sure. So for the child, daytime, night time and all is not sure. But for you, night time is clear. So whenever you want to sleep, the child will not sleep. Slowly over a period of time, the child gets acclimatized to know that, oh, now it is night and I have to sleep. Then again I have to wake up. So you have to enable it. Like that, you have to slowly get this mind into that framework of fixing it and not running away. Fixing it, not running away. Is it clear? धीरे 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 करना है. इसके बीच में there will be a stage where you will start getting irritated about yourself. All this you have to pass through. Because there is no point in saying, "Nee, mere se nahi hoga." Don't give it up. Which means what? Don't bother too much about the result, but follow the practice very regularly in a disciplined way, in a given particular time, in a given particular place, so that like sleep, it becomes a routine. So whenever that environment comes, automatically sleep. Yeah, if I have to give you some very little dirty examples, because our body works that way. सुबह चाय पिया तो potty trigger होता है. You are giving an environment for it to trigger. Like that, you have to enable the system to trigger dhyana. Which means an effort is required. Okay. Now, from a particular sajatiya pratyaya, you will get hooked on to one aspect of it without you knowing. For example, if I'm thinking about, I'm just giving an example, that is not how it should be. A garden made up of many trees, many flowers, fruits, and when I'm walking, I get hooked on to one flower of a tree and I'm stuck there. Like that, if I'm going to look at various attributes of Rama, Dasharatha Nandana Rama, Sita Pati Rama, Lakshmana Bhrata Rama, Hanuman Swami Rama, Vibhishana brother Bhratru Rama, Ravana Nigraha Rama, so many things, somewhere I can get stuck and that will continue. Now all these are Vijatiya or Sajatiya? They are Sajatiya. It has not gone off. You did not suddenly move from Sita Pati Rama to the song which was sang as Sita Pati in your Shadi. So you are still in Sajatiya with this Rama only. Makes sense? But various aspects of Rama is still Sajatiya Pravaha. And in that Sajatiya Pravaha, you get hooked on. Now when you get hooked on, what happens? How many things exist? In that practical world, for example, if you are in a dream, how many things exist? Tell me. If you are in a dream, how many things exist? Two. Me, the subject experiencing the dream, and the dream that object. बाकी कुछ मुझे मालूम नहीं है. Same way in a dhyana, me the subject and that the object is very clearly I am aware. And that relationship between the subject and object is called dhyana. Dhyata, dhyeya, dhyana. That triputi is the only thing which is now there. Is it clear? Dhyata, dhyeya, dhyana. Now what happens? My mind is, I have done a sankalpa, today I am going to think about, I know all major things about Prabhu Shri Ramachandra's life. So I am going to just go through the whole life and see where all he has been dharma, dharmishta. Okay. So there are chances that I am stuck in one, because now dharmishta is only the one which I am going to be stuck. And there I am going to keep seeing differently. Right? I may suddenly go out somewhere from this chapter to some other chapter, then again come back. So I need to put an effort to maintain the Sajatiya in a smooth way. Are you able to get that? So dharana is bringing you to a particular path. Dhyana is now taking you and separating everything else from you and the object in that path also. Now when you are in that, my mind doesn't remain in that. It suddenly goes out and it comes back. Goes out and comes back. But it is still in that same point. Okay. Now this particular thing requires an effort to keep it stable there. Are you able to get that? It requires some effort, right? And initially when you put that effort, but relatively you are able to be stable there. That means I don't take that much time to quickly come to this, connect, be stable. Initially I used to take half an hour, now in 5 minutes I am able to do it. Correct? I am aware of it. So slowly with practice, because all are based on practice. And how much consistent you are, how much persistent you are, it will start. There is no person who for whom dhyana cannot come. The only thing is, you have to have patience, you have to be consistent. Which means initially you need to put an effort. So the effort phase for this triputi, dhata, jnata, dhyeya and dhyana, that is connecting these two, which requires an effort, so that the dhyana comes with effort, is what in Vedanta, again let me mark in inverted commas, in Vedanta we call as dhyana. Patanjali doesn't say this, huh?
Effort.
Yeah. The phase where there is an effort to connect between subject and object is called dhyana. The first one is disconnecting with the environment, pratyahara, aligning to a single directional bundle of thoughts, disconnecting all the distracting thoughts, and continuing in that particular path is called dharana. Then you connect to an object, then there is a subject-object connectivity, but that requires an effort, is called dhyana. This is purely as per Vedanta. Why we are referring it like this? Because then we have to give a logical reasoning to samadhi. Okay. As per yoga, samadhi is different. We have chosen to define samadhi differently. Don't go by which is correct or wrong. The reason being, the sankalpa or the pratigna, what we are referring to is bandhaka is coming out of ajnana. Bandhana or bandhaka is coming out of ajnana. Removal of ajnana is the advent of jnana, is the prerequisite for moksha. That means I need to have paripurna atmajnana with atmanishta, where I have changed myself completely, and in this whole process thought is an integral part, because mind and intellect is very, very active at all times. So our basis is jnanena eva kaivalyam. Jnana is thought. So the thoughts, I have to superimpose that thoughts completely into me, that I am that thought. So the thought needs to be there. Okay. Which means there is no scope for thought less. So Vedanta will never talk of thought less state, whereas yoga talks about thought less state. That is why yoga has defined samadhi as savikalpaka samadhi, nirvikalpaka samadhi. In nirvikalpaka samadhi, when you go ahead, that is the time it says that the Purusha will dawn upon you when you are above all the gunas also. If you become gunatita, that thoughtless, and you are able to be in that state, automatically the knowledge will dawn upon you. And we say such things don't happen. From the Shastra we understand what it is. That is with a thought. And for us what is nirvikalpaka is also defined. Okay, it is just a differentiation of a view, but the process remains the same. Now, what is samadhi as per Vedanta? We said in dhyana there is an effort put. When effortlessly you are connected to the object. Now see, when you are effortlessly connected to the object, effort is a pratibandha. Please understand. The moment I say effort, it is something which is obstructing the union of the subject and object. Correct? But when that is not there, the subject directly is the object now. The subject goes and falls onto the object, and it's like the object at that time. That is a state. So then there is no subject-object differentiation. Correct? Now, when there is no subject-object differentiation, but the fact is there is a subject and there is an object. That is why this ahankara is there. And the object is also there. The object can be saguna. That means if I consider myself to be Rama 100%, then I am in samadhi with Rama effortlessly. But there is a Rama and there is me, and both are different. Clear? Now when this two difference, because they have vikalpa, they get separated. What is vikalpa? Part and whole relationship or classification relationship. Okay, it has parts, limbs. Because vikalpa is there, you can separate it. For example, if I say the space in this pot and the space outside, there is no vikalpa. And if they both join, that is nirvikalpaka samadhi. So if my object is going to be without any classification, a whole which is Brahman, which doesn't have vikalpa, and my Atma, which is what I believe that the object, and me as the subject sees that object as the subject itself. It doesn't have a vikalpa, and that is happening effortlessly. Then that is what we call nirvikalpaka samadhi for us. Because that idea of Atma and Brahman is coming from the Shastra. It's a principle. And the more I delve on it, the more I am, see, otherwise when I sit, aham husband owes me, aham wife owes me, aham child owes me, aham student owes me, aham teacher owes me is what I am putting. Aham Brahmasmi when you say, that is also going to be like this only. Subject-object relationship. But that time that object part is going away because you are negating everything as per the Shastra. And then what is remaining is what is told. And when you say what is remaining, you will say that nothing else, only I am remaining. There is no object at all. I the subject alone is remaining, and being with I the subject thought, aham iti sakshat, is what is nirvikalpaka samadhi. If it is tough to understand, comfortably drop it. Don't have to worry about it. I am trying to explain so that I am getting a clarity of what I am trying to say. But if you are not able to get it, easily drop it. Now, how did this get explained by Ramana Maharshi in Upadeshasara? He says, what is that? Before Manasantu Kim Margane Krite, before that it will come. He says, what is mind? Okay, I'm not getting that verse directly. He says, what is mind? Mind is a bundle of thoughts. What are thoughts? Thoughts are idam vritti, which is enlivened by aham vritti. The thoughts without me are jada. Correct? Who gives life to the thought? Aham vritti gives sentiency to the bundle of thoughts which are idam vritti. These thoughts become my thoughts only when I get connected to it. Correct? He says thoughts are different, will keep on coming and going. But what is giving sentiency to each thought is the same aham iti ego. So the moment you focus on aham, whatever the thoughts on the top goes doesn't matter. And this is what is we are saying, that move from the objective to the subjective. Here it is ego, which is again an object. Because you have to come to this intermediate state, and then only the ego can be broken. Because he says, then you ask, aham ayam kutaha, The moment you ask this question, aham, ayam kutaha, where is this aham? That ego, ayi patati, it will just drop because it doesn't have an existence without OC. Then you say, am I the RC? No, I am only the OC. That RC is for transaction, and my mind is a bundle of thought which is a transaction, and for the transaction I need to have an RM and an RC which is aham, aham, aham. Are you able to get this? So getting into that nirvikalpaka is when you are removing the vikalpa called thoughts, and only that aham vritti is remaining. That is nirvikalpaka samadhi. If you are effortlessly able to sit in that, then absolutely no problem. It is like at anything and everything, if you are able to see, you are just seeing only that Vibhuti Yoga and Vishwarupa Darshanam, then you are always in 100% Nirvikalpaka Samadhi at all times, irrespective of whatever transaction you are doing. Are you able to get this? You have to envisage this. Then you understand how subtle it is, because that is the path if you know. Otherwise you will be stuck in that gross part of just focusing the mind. I am doing dhyana for focusing the mind. Buddhu, without a focused mind, you can never do dhyana. Today what people are teaching outside is totally different. They have packaged it for a different purpose, including all the God men. But the reality, what Shastra says is very clear, this is the way. Whether to accept it or not accept or follow the flow is your choice. But this is how it is going to be. Initially you fake it and make it. Because you need something to hook on to. But after that, once it becomes common, like for example, if you are doing something actively with an effort, there is a very high chance that once the effort stops, still that lingering effect is there. Like if I cycle and suddenly stop pedaling, still the cycle continues to move. Like for example, if I sat and I was sitting for Akhandanama Sankirtana, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, even after that is over and you have come home, at the behind your mind that Hare Rama is only going on. Why? It is now continuing, and this vritti continuing, that thought by default continuing, effortlessly coming, is nirvikalpaka, and I am into it. Doesn't matter physically, I am actually doing hundreds of jobs, but my mind is completely, it is uska andar pura, like that gulab jamun, it is only sitting in that vritti. Is it clear?
Seer, seeing.
Huh?
Seer, seeing, and seeing. There is no seeing. Seeing and everything, only seer.
Correct. So, but that is, whenever you refer to all this, seer, seen, it is a karma. It's a verb. If it's a verb, there is an object. If the moment because then the limitation starts there. And to break that limitation only, very beautifully, Ramana Maharshi has straight away broken it there. He says, don't go like this, slowly, because subject, object करने के बाद तुमको वो object निकालना बहुत मुश्किल होएगा. He straight away says, what is that object? That object is your reflection only, not throw that. Then what is remaining? Only you are there, because you are giving life to that object. If you are not there, where is that object? If subject is not there, where is the object? So what is there? Only the subject is there. Object actually doesn't have an existence. Independent existence. Deep sleep. Clear? Deep sleep, when you say, Patanjali calls deep sleep as a vritti, a thought pattern. Vrittayaha panchataya klishtaha, that nidra is a vritti. That is why when you go across different philosophies, we have to be very clear how they have defined it. Nidra is a vritti. Okay. And when what we say, a thoughtless state is a sleep state, deep sleep. He says no, a deep sleep state is also a thought. And which is true, because in Panchadashi this also is touched upon very clearly, saying that without a thought in the sleep state, how did you know that you slept well?
Ah.
That means there was a thought at that time which you are not aware. So deep sleep state, according to Patanjali, is a different pattern of thought, where there are no thoughts. For example, if I write on a slate and if I clean everything, what is remaining?
Slate.
Don't say nothing is there, the slate is there. Slate without anything. That is also a possibility.
That is a chitta.
No, that is not chitta. That is chitabhasa. The chitabhasa is not chitta.
No.
That is why he gives it as a thought. Chidabhasa is a thought.
Yes.
Ahankara is a thought. Finally, what is it? You give different names, but finally, what is it? Aham in this Sakshat is a thought which is propelled by Aham. OC. Aram, when you say Manas, OC is the subject. What comes out is Chidabhasa, and RC, which is a reflection, is equal to a thought. What levels they can go and really understand it, please. That is why no one can even imagine the way they have gone and thought about it. We are so gross, every thought they have taken it and broken it, that what is that? Because finally the whole Yoga Shastra is on thought. Why do you say Yoga Shastra is on thought? Can any yoga student tell? Yoga Shastra is on thought. Huh? Vritti Nirodha. Exactly. The definition of yoga is what? Chitta Vritti Nirodha. If Vritti is not there, it is thought based. So removal of Vritti is the whole purpose of yoga. And here we are saying that completely being totally into that one thought is samadhi for us. And there he says that removal of all thoughts will dawn the knowledge of samadhi. Will dawn the knowledge of Atma, which is moksha. That means when you come out of the samadhi, you are back. No moksha. Getting it? And we say no. If knowledge is already dawned in, then you are always mukta at all times. Get it? These are philosophical differences. But here, in the 6th chapter, we are looking at culturing the mind through sadhanas, and that is what Krishna is focusing on. And at no place here in the 6th chapter, Krishna talks of thoughtless state. Why? At the last, you know what he is giving? Yomam pashyati sarvatra. He gives that. Yomam pashyati sarvatra. Where is that? 30th. Sarvancha mayi pashyati. Who sees me in everything and who sees everything in me. What is this seeing? Isn't it a thought? So where is without thought state? Okay. So till what we understand Bhagavad Gita, there is nothing called thoughtless state. So this text at least does not talk about that particular state. And for us, from the perspective of Vedanta, we need not have a thoughtless state. That single thought that Aham Brahma Asmi at all times, effortlessly, if that is that Tambura Shruti going on, then you are a Mukta Purusha from that moment. Is it clear? Are we clear on understanding this concept called Dhyana? Why we are talking of Dhyana and Samadhi? What is the difference between this? Has to be understood. From here we can go to that particular shloka. Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyeva avatisthate nispriha sarvakamebhyah yukta iti uchyate tada. Okay, so 18th shloka. Now we have come back to the 18th shloka. Why we needed this? Because here he clearly says Chittam Atmanyeva Avatisthate. What is Chittam? These words don't get mistaken. Yada viniyatam chittam. Chittam is mind. Atmani eva avatisthate. Okay, what is viniyatam? What is niyatam? Niyatan kuru karmatvam. What is niyata karma? Niyata karma. Nitya naimittika karma together is called niyata karma. What is nitya naimittika karma? What is it? What do you call nitya naimittika karma? Which is being told you have to do irrespective. You want it, you don't want it, you like it, you don't like it. That is called nitya niyam. That is niyata karma. So yada viniyatam chittam. Niyatam is disciplined. Viniyatam means very well disciplined. Okay. Viniyatam chittam, that highly disciplined mind. Yada, in case this mind which is highly disciplined, how it is disciplined? Dharana, dhyana, savikalpaka, nirvikalpaka, samadhi, anantaram. Okay, these three together, Patanjali gives another word for it. Samyama he calls. Samyama means these three together. So this three together, very well practiced, and that mind which is so disciplined and entrenched in it, viniyatam chittam, and in such a chittam, atmani eva tishthate, is the atma is completely established in the mind and no other thought is there. Okay, atmani eva tishthate. Okay. Nispriha sarva kamebhyaha. Nispriha achieves all the desires. What is achieving all the desires? Achieving all the desires means what? Exactly. If I have achieved all the desires, there is no desire left. If there is no desire left, it is moksha. So it's indirectly to call moksha. Highest level of vairagya will give moksha. Highest level of vairagya means achieved all the karma, the kamyas. That is why it is called vairagya. That means I have no more desire to earn or maintain, because I believe that I have earned and maintained what is required. That is vairagya. That means if I reach vairagya, it is like saying that when you start from Thane in a train, the last stop is VT. If I have reached VT, it means I have already crossed up to Masjid everything. So that means if I have acquired all the stations up to Masjid and reached VT, means what? I have reached VT. That I don't need to acquire any of these again because I have already acquired. That is a way of putting it. Nispriha sarva kamebhyaha yuktaha chittam atmani eva avatisthate sa yada saha yogi yuktaha iti tada uchyate. That person is only called a yogi, yuktaha. See, a yogi who has achieved is called yuktaha. Achieved. Who is he? Achieved. Who is he? He has come first. Means what? He has ran, he has come there, and he has come before everyone. So he is called he has come first. So yuktaha means what? A yogi. After yada viniyatam chittam atmanyeva avatisthate nispriha sarvakamebhyaha iti uchyate tada yuktaha. That person only can be called yuktaha. One who has completely aligned that mind with a high level of discipline and only has established the mind now. The question is the person establishing Atma in the mind or is the person's mind established in Atma?
Mind established.
Okay, Atmani in Saptami. That means in the Atma that mind is established. That means the mind doesn't have a individuality. Correct? That means there is no ahankara. Right? Nispriha sarvakamebhya, as though need not even exist because he has achieved everything. So it's like he not existing at all. Iti uchyate tada yuktaha. If such a situation is there, that person only is called a yogi, yuktaha. Okay. Now, here he has given the purpose of samyama very clearly. You have to achieve this, and from this shlokas only we come to know that 6th chapter is not upasana but nididhyasana. Because if you are saying Chittam Atmani eva avatishthate, without jnanam, how will this happen? Are you able to understand? Without jnanam, how will this happen? And hence, if a person is going to do dhyanam after shravanam and mananam, so that to change the habits, vipariyaya removal, then it is nididhyasanam, and hence this chapter is focused on nididhyasanam and not upasana, which is a prerequisite or a preparatory step for jnana. It is not for chitta shuddhi. Although the principles can be very easily used for chitta shuddhi. Because the difference in upasana and nididhyasana is what? There you fake it and make it aspiring for it. Here it naturally comes. That's the only difference. But subject-object wise it will still be in the same direction. So we can continue to look at it. Is it clear? Hopefully, am I clear? I don't know. I'm just... Is this clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Can we move ahead? And where are our yoga teachers? Is it clear for yoga teachers?
Yes, sir.
पक्का ना?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
हाँ चलो. इससे ज़्यादा अगर कुछ क्वेश्चन आए तो मुझे आता नहीं आंसर करने को. That's all I can say. Right? ठीक है. Then he comes back again and he says, so he has given what you do. You give an ultimate step of what you want to achieve. Then you come back. कि भाई क्या मैं बोल रहा था? Okay. नात्युच्युतम नाति नीचम, खाना ऐसा रहना चाहिए, ध्यान में बैठना चाहिए, ध्यान लगेगा, फिर धारणा ध्यान में इतना इजी नहीं रहेगा. That samadhi also will not be so easy. Suddenly you will not get into it. There will be a lot of... Then he gives an example how it is. Because a person will not understand otherwise. So only with simile, okay, with illustration, some examples are given so that Arjuna understands what it is. He says, Yatha Deepo Nivatasthaha. Repeat. Nengate Sopama Smrita. Yogino Yata Chittasya. Yunjato Yoga Matmanaha. Okay. Now he gives an example. Yata Deepo Nivatastaha Nengate Sopama Smritaha. How do we break it? Yatha Deepaha Nivatastaha Nengate Na ingate. Nengate are two words. Na ingate Sopama Sa upama Smrita yoginah yatachittasya yunjatah yogam atmanah. Okay, so how will the Anvaya be? Yata nivatastha deepaha na ingate sa upama atmanah yogam yunjatah yata chittasya yoginah smrita. Okay, what it says? Yatha, like that of. Okay, yatha tata means like that, like this. So you are giving a simile now. Nivatastha. How three words together is now making this word. Vata, breeze. Hava. Vara, vata. Vatastha. Stha means established. Vatastha, established in the wind. But how vata? Ni vata. Nikrishna vata, without wind. So, without the wind. How established without the wind is nivatastha. What nivatastha? Deepaha. As the flame is established in the absence of the wind. Na ingate, does not flicker. Na ingate. Sa upama. That is the example. Atmanaha yogam yunjata. Connect. Be the Atma at all times without deviation at any point of time. Yatachittasya yoginaha. Yatachittasya means not sadha yoginaha. A very highly disciplined yoginaha who practices it and ensures that he will maintain it at all times. Because आज आ गया, कल वापस नहीं आया तो गया. So at all times he is being able to easily maintain and be with it like that, that whenever you put a glass casing to the flame, it will not move. Like that, yatachittasya casing given by this yogi, yuktaha, yunjataha, connected with Atmana at all times, without flickering or moving away at any point of time. Completely established. Is it clear now? Yatha nivatastaha deepaha na ingate sa upama atmanaha yogam yunjata. Like that you connect with Atmanaha. Yata chittasya yoginaha. That yogi who is self-restrained, who is very well disciplined and who continues to practice and be there and maintain it and does not come down to a lower level at any point of time. Smrita, you may clearly understand it like that. Swam Smrita, you please understand it like that. It is not that reaching and then forgetting. Reaching, agate, dukkham, maintain dukkham, laye dukkham, like that. To reach there a lot of effort, maintaining lot of effort, then it will not go. That means the person will be highly sensitive. Highly sensitive. Is it clear? Okay. So we will stop it here and we will continue with the 20th shloka, which is in the next class. Yatra niruddham yoga sevaya. Yatra uparamate chittam niruddham yoga sevaya. Okay. We will continue the 20th shloka, 20th, 21st, 22nd together. We will take it mostly. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. धन्यवादः.
Thank you, sir.
धन्यवादः. धन्यवादः.